certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Ranking. This is going to be a fun one day. We're going to be talking about the Scream franchise, which should be a lot of fun. We're going to rank it. And over here we've got Steve here. Steve, how's it going?
It's going well. I am looking forward to talking about the Scream franchise. It's one of my favorite horror franchises of all time, and I'm down to talk about with you, Malcolm, and the next pair of people that are very big fans of the franchise as well.
Also, I've got Chad. Chad, how's it going?
It's going great. Very excited to be here. And, looking forward to, am I really Chad? Yeah, I'm Chad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this franchise because it got me into horror. It made me appreciate cinema more. And I still love it so much.
I was going to get my own mask, but I couldn't find it. But we've also got Kiri here. Kiri, how's it going?
Going great. Thanks for having me. This is one of my favorite horror franchises, so super excited to be talking about it today.
How this is going to work is we're each going to go around and vote on. It's not going to be the same as the usual rankings. Like we've done these a few times now. People know what to expect, but we're going to go around and vote what you think should be at 12, and whatever movie gets the most votes, we'll talk about it. Then we'll move on to 6, and then so on and so forth. But Steve, which of the 7 Scream movies do you have at 7?
I mean, it's only appropriate that at 7, I'm going to put Scream 7. I would
just.
Yeah, sorry.
It may not officially be there yet.
Yeah.
But Kerry, what do you have at 7?
I also have Scream 7.
Chad, what do you have at 7?
Controversial, but I actually have Scream 5 at number 7.
Also, probably semi-controversial. I've got Scream 3 at 7. But we are going to be talking about Scream 7. It is going to be at 7. But Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 7?
Honestly, I didn't think. I mean, listen, as a Scream fan, you're always going to get excited for a Scream movie. I mean, we all know this. We were excited for a Scream movie, but the results were varied. And then, like, I walked out of it semi-hyped, thinking like, okay, that wasn't bad, but some problems, but not bad. Then I started thinking about it and I started sleeping on it. I'm like, and it got me mad a little bit. I'm like, how the fuck does this make sense? What the hell's going? I don't know if we're gonna go in spoiler territories, but I'll try to.
Well, I did say. I mean, I put the post that there may be potential spoilers. So.
All right, so I'm allowed then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How the fuck does 5'2" nothing Anna Camp gonna be able to kill all these people? I mean, like, let alone I'm pretty sure she didn't kill her own son, but still, just to have this belief of like her just being able to orchestrate it just because she's a crazy stalker. I mean, yes, the modus operandi is like all these people are crazy, but like none of their motives made sense. I mean, the only reason I had a feeling that I felt like Stu was going to be the killer just because they left some breadcrumbs to like, oh, John Doe, and he was in an asylum, possibly making, but just, and it would have been more interesting if Stu was alive. It would have been more interesting. But yeah, I and also some of the kills were great, but like just the way it was shot just felt very blah. There was nothing that popped out of it like, oh, that looked cool. It just felt very gun for hire type of situation when it came to the cinematography and everything behind the camera work, especially the script. I was very disappointed with the script, especially with how Kevin Williamson kind of was changing the game with the first one. So that's my rant over.
But Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 7?
Yeah, I actually really loved this. Chad and I had a great time in the theater. We went back and saw it a second time and still really loved it. I get people's criticisms, and I do think this movie has some of the weakest motivations of characters or of killers in Scream, although I don't think that's like a uncommon thing in the Scream movies, to be honest. And I think we do always in every movie where one of the killers is like a tiny woman, like, you know, we've had Emma Roberts and Amber and even Mrs. Loomis, you know, that you have to, I think, or like having Roman kill everyone in 3. I think you do have to like have a real suspension of disbelief for all of them. But I definitely get, you know, people's criticisms of this one. That said, I had fun with it. It's only my lowest ranked just because I have so much nostalgia, I think, for the rest of them. And I do think there are some things that could have been done better in this movie. That said, I still really loved it. It just, something has to go last. And today, this is it. My ranking changes like every day. So,
but Chad, what are your thoughts about Scream 7?
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, Scream 7 is kind of unfairly maligned. Like, you know, when I see like lowest, you know, Rotten Tomatoes score and so many people being like, this movie sucks, I hate this movie, oh, Scream franchise is dead. I'm just like, I watched the movie and I'm like, the fuck movie did you guys watch? Because that was honestly a lot of fun to me. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, especially with like Steve having like criticisms of it and stuff, I'm not saying that like it's not something that you can't pick apart. Like I do think there were like weak characters and, you know, stuff like that in there. I'm not saying it's definitely like a perfect movie, but like Carrie said, I actually really enjoyed it. I like kind of the motivation for the killer. It's kind of, for me, it was just like, you know, hearkening back to Scream 4, where it's like, you know, someone is such a huge fan of Sydney and her book that they like take it to an extreme, and they have like the meta take of like, you know, you should have been there in New York. And it's like a whole like spyglass, poking fun of the spyglass situation a little bit there. And you know, while, yeah, I think it could have been interesting if Stu were alive. I actually do think he probably still is alive, but I'm not sure. You know, I think it might be. You never know. But I do think it's really interesting the way they went with it. And I think there's a lot of heart in it between Sydney and her daughter Tatum. That's like some of my favorite stuff. And the building up of Tatum's character I thought was really good. But then also some of the kills were like really interesting. So I do think and I love the fall October vibes that it has. Didn't come out then, but I think it'll be a really fun rewatch around Halloween time. And then, you know, I think it's fair that people have criticisms of it, but I also just think it's better than a lot of people let on. And I hope that people will reevaluate it down the line. Kind of like how Scream 3 is by many still considered to be the worst, but some people go back and they'll like reevaluate it a lot of the times and be like, this has some stuff I really like in it actually. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones like, I like all the Scream movies, and Scream 7 included in that. I was joking with Chad last week. It was like, I'll try and stack the panel with people who just really love Scream 7 and will get it to number one. But yeah, but no, but yeah, I do think there's like some people that are being really unfair on the movie, especially John Campion is like, oh, this movie is better than Catwoman. It's like it's top 3 worst movies of all time. It's like, dude, just come out, calm down here. But yeah, and it's one of those ones like, I think it's good. Like I actually went to see it again last night, and I think I still just had fun with it. Like, and it's one of those ones that I do think the killer reveal was really lackluster because I was actually predicting that maybe it was going to be Gail being the killer, just because the convenience of her sort of turning up on the scene just as Ghostface was on the street, and then her conveniently sort of running over Ghost of the mental patient, and that I thought, yeah, like maybe she's the killer, and then like she's sort of getting back at Sydney because Sydney wasn't there for her in New York, and that so but to find out there was just this character that was just introduced in this one that really, they didn't really build up her relationship that well. It's like it just kind of fell flat. And then you got the random mental thing. It's like, so yeah,
Carl.
but
And Carl.
Yeah, and Carl. But it's going to be like interesting because like it was like, but you had like interesting Easter eggs that never really went in either. Because like you had the boyfriend just completely decides like, oh yeah, I want to see if it's possible to do something like this. Like,
Yeah, very, very convenient.
it's like, plus, how did the boyfriend get that? Yeah, get the footage of thing before it's very. It's like it's just very convenient. All that just, but it's going to be interesting to see if we do get a Scream 8, if they do go the route of Stu still being alive and pulling the strings, and this whole movie was sort of like them trying to catch Sydney off guard.
The prequel,
and that, yeah, and that who knows, but yeah, I think it's fun. I have a lot of fun with it, and that bear tap kill always made me squeamish about how many times I see it.
Yeah, but by just so you guys know, like I don't think this is complete. Like I am not on the opposite side of the spectrum where I think this is like the worst movie of all time. I'm not like that. I was just, just a little disappointed in terms of how it could have been executed.
Yeah, well,
and it was fun too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like at the moment, I enjoyed it for what it was. But like when I really thought about certain plot holes and characters and like that in the overall Scream franchise, I find myself ranking this the lowest in terms of all the movies. So I just wanted to let you guys know, like I don't find this the worst movie of all time. I've seen a lot worse. Trust me. And just wanted to put that little rib on that.
Yeah, I was never thinking you were one of those. You were thinking on that, but anyway, moving on to number 6. Kerry, what do you have at number 6?
At number 6, I have Scream 3.
Chad, what do you have for number 6?
I'll stick with Scream 5.
I'm sticking with Scream 3. And Scream. Steve was also in Scream 3. But Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 3?
Yeah. Again, absolutely love this movie. It has. I think this is like probably one of the funniest movies. Like all the stuff with the actors and Posey Parker is just hilarious in this. Parker. Oh my god.
It's okay, it happens. Don't worry. It happens all the time. Trust me.
She and Courtney Cox are just like the way they interact, especially, is I think hilarious in this movie. I just have it lower ranked because like all this stuff with Sydney's mom as a ghost, like it doesn't always really make a lot of sense. And then I think it is like if you watch the movie knowing who the killer is and knowing it's a single killer, it doesn't super make a lot of logical sense. And the voice changing stuff is like, now I think it was fun that Scream 7 actually kind of explored modern day use of that same concept a little bit more, but now it's kind of more realistic. Back when Scream 3 came out, there wasn't some like magic voice changer that you could like mimic other people's voices really. So overall, Scream 3, I love it, but it's just a little bit lower ranked for me for those reasons.
Chad, what do you have? What do you think about Scream 3?
Yeah, I actually had Scream 3 ranked just a little bit above this at 5. So I don't have it like a ton higher. So I'm not like doing like this big redemptive arc for it or anything. I think it's fair that people say this is one of the weaker ones. But I obviously don't think it's the worst one. Like, I also don't like Ghost Marine, but I think they do it even worse with Billy in 5 and 6. So I'm just like, I mean, but Scream 3 started the whole unrealistic, thing with that. I mean, it was a dream, but even still, like, just you don't have to show dreams in the Scream franchise. It's more realistic. That's one of the big issues I have with it. I also don't love that they just did Roman, because I think it makes way more sense with Angelina as the other ghost face. And they should have, that was the original plan. They should have just kept that. It makes way more sense. And I think she's shady as fuck anyways. They could have just made her like a really cool ghost face. I think she would have done really, really great job. I also love and hate the ending at the same time, because I love the fact, like the whole thing between Roman and Sydney and how they kind of come together, and she meets him for the first time, and then she holds his hand while he dies. I love that, because I'm like, I have to kill you, but then I also, this is a tragedy, because you could have been like my little brother,
Big brother.
or big brother. That was kind of like the same, like the tragic circumstances of the thing that turned him into a killer. But then she holds his hand. But then they had to have him come back, because it's a Scream movie. You have to have him come back and charge and go, shoot him in the head, kind of a thing, which is like fun, but it also sucks for a story, because I think it would have been better to end it with, she has the line where she's like, he wasn't a superhuman. He was just a guy, just a tragic guy, kind of like that. And it's like, you kind of undo that whole message when you have him come back and rush at her and stuff. And it's like, it could have been like more meaningful, especially because I think some of the strongest stuff in this movie are the like, Me Too before Me Too commentary, commentary on the Hollywood system, and mistreatment of women and stuff. And then also, just the idea of this being the trilogy capper, where Sydney finally lets go of her trauma and leaves the door open at the end. I think that's such a brilliant metaphor of her saying, I've had so much trauma in my life, but I'm not letting it control me and define me. And so there's so many great ideas in Scream 3, but some of the script issues that they had with like studio involvement and stuff, I think just really kind of like tanked it, where it could have been another great Scream movie. And that being said, it still also has some of my favorite moments, like the Randy video and Dewey getting hit in the head with the knife and falling down the stairs with the comedy, like falling down the stairs, Looney Tunes music, which is really funny. So yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff. And Parker Posey, one of the best Scream characters of all time. So
yeah. Yeah, funny enough, like, while I do think the like the Randy video moment is good, I always felt it was a little out of place, like him like just conveniently knowing that like there's going to be like a food killer going after Sid is like just the randomness of it. But that being said, and as I said before, like there's not really a Scream movie I don't like. Like Scream 3 is I do think it's good, but it does have a few issues, and I do think, as much as I do think the cameo of Jane Silent Bob is fun, it took me right out of the movie as well. Like, look, if it was just like Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, it's one thing, but they were in there as Jane Silent Bob. Is like that. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun, and yeah, I really enjoyed actually revisiting all these Scream movies this past week as well. Yeah, but Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's from a lot of the reasons Carrie said, I mean everything has been brought up in terms of why this movie is probably the second weakest in terms of all franchise. But I do believe, like, also this is, if you really look at the kill count, the kills themselves are kind of weak. They're very weak comparatively speaking, even compared to 7. I mean, you get stabbings and you get blood, but like a lot of the kills felt like very like just whack. Like they didn't really have any impact. No impact. I mean, you felt bad. Like you get the fucking Christine, random ass Cotton's girlfriend, just get like a lot of the kills felt weak. Stones felt weak. The Price felt like it just felt very, and also it felt kind of very Scooby-Doo-ish. This felt like the Scooby-Doo version of Scream. Very, very the most kid friendly you can ever get to Scream, and without having so much blood at it, you can't look away. Also, like I also like Parker Posey's performance. I honestly wish she didn't die. I wish she was the lone survivor instead of Mark. Fucking Mark. Fucking Patrick Dempsey. Yeah, Patrick Dempsey is a handsome gentleman, and he, but I mean, he could have been the one officer just to die. I mean, you already have a former police officer living in Dewey. Just let fucking Jennifer Jolie live and survive until the next Scream 4. She should have been the opening kill in Scream 4. She should have been one of the actresses vying to be after the great opening. It should have been open on her. Like, why wasn't it on Stab 8? Why wasn't it on Stab 7? It's because I exposed the Sunrise Studios for the hack that Predator lived. I mean, it was right for the picking, and she should have played with it.
Judy Jergen's turn. I'm not even sure if it was in the script for Parker Posey to jump into her security guard's arms. That sounds like something she just did.
Nah, I wouldn't be surprised. She's a improv master, as proven in her Christopher Guest movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and also what I like about it, and it just only hit me in nostalgia. Creed. We got a Creed song in Scream 3. Sorry, I'm a big. I am a Creed apologist, despite the band's politics. I still think Creed is fucking awesome. And whoa, I mean, the music video just brought back. And this was the first movie. This was the first Scream movie I ever saw in theaters. So like, despite how weak the movie in itself, I still am semi-fan of it, despite some of the weak elements to it. I still like it for the fact that it's one of the first Scream movies I saw in theaters, and also Creed is on the fucking soundtrack.
You do bring up a good point. So I'm surprised the opening kills Scream 4. If they were because they were going that route of having like the multiple stab movies, you didn't bring back those actors. Like, you could have put back those actors easily. It's like, and like, that wouldn't have been that out of place because of how they did the opening, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But yeah. Chad, what do you have for number 5?
Scream 5.
I'm going Scream 4. Steve.
Scream 6.
And Kerry.
I have Scream 4.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Man.
It changes all the time. I'm sorry that's what it is today.
But Chad, what are your thoughts about Scream 4?
Scream 4, yeah, I mean, I can see how people think like it's a mixed bag. People keep talking about the cinematography, and I still don't understand what they're talking about with it. Like, I watched the movie and I'm like, what? Like, it looks weird.
It's got like a filter on it, kind of.
It doesn't bother me, I guess. I just don't really notice it. So, and I'm not going to say I notice it to be cool. I just don't. So I guess it just doesn't bother me. I like the movie, but yeah, I mean, in some ways it feels a little too studio. Like, I think certain characters aren't really necessary, like Allison Brie, certain stuff like that. I don't like even Robbie is I don't really care. It could have just been Charlie. You don't really need. But even though I think that there are some parts of this movie that I don't love or enjoy watching, there are a lot of parts that I do like. I'm on the fence about the opening. I think the opening is fun, but also just super weird and doesn't really fit within like the rest of the movies and like how Scream openings generally are. So it's just kind of weird. But it also gives us one of the, like, I think best ghost faces in the whole franchise with Jill Roberts. I think she's just incredible. And I also love Kirby. I think Kirby's one of the best characters in the whole franchise. You know, while I think some of the legacy characters are just kind of there to be there, like Gale and Dewey are just kind of there. I still think we get a lot of good stuff with Sydney and like the whole Sydney versus the anti-Sydney and the whole thing about Jill saying, I don't need friends, I need fans. And like that whole culture that would just start to blow up after this movie with you know, fandom culture and like the idea of streamers doing stuff just to get clicks and streams and stuff, and how you can, you know, take this true crime element and like really do something messed up to get views and become a celebrity because of that. And like she kind of took the wrong idea of Sydney being famous. Like Sydney doesn't want to be famous for this, but Jill's like, it's cool to be famous for that. And yeah, you know, another like all-time scene is like Kirby like rattling off so many horror titles to save Charlie, only for Charlie to be a piece of shit too. Yeah, so there's a lot of really great scenes in it, and I think overall it's a pretty good one. But like, I do also understand that like it also feels a little weaker sometimes. I've always been on the fence with this movie.
Yeah, but I also thought, and yeah, and as well as like for me, like I didn't mind the opening for what it was. Like I think it was a lot of it was just a lot of fun having it be like this like movie marathon thing, which in itself is a subtle plot point to later on in the movie where they do go to an actual sad marathon. Plus, you got Anna Paquin as one of the in there as well. It's a Kiwi actress, but no, like I like the movie for what it is. I think it's a lot of fun, and I do really like the true crime element of that. Like Sydney's, it's not so much trying to stay alive, but she's trying to figure out who's trying to frame her, and it's I think it's just it's a lot of a lot of fun, and it's just but yeah, and I also didn't really notice that filter that everyone seems to have issues with in this but yeah, I think I have a lot of fun watching this. I do think it's really good. I just like the other ones more. But Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 4?
Real quick, let me interject. That scene where Jill just fucks herself up is amazing.
Yeah.
I honestly think Scream 4 is the best Scream sequel.
Nice. Interesting.
I mean, it's just as good as Scream 2. That's my opinion.
Wow.
And I favor this more because you have a great, I think the best Ghostface killer. Best. Besides the original, best Ghostface killer. No doubt. Jill Roberts, awesome. Jill Roberts, Emma Roberts fucking kills it. That scene, amazing. And again, these movies are gonna have some flaws. There's some stuff that could have been done. I think they should have had that original plot where Sydney had amnesia. That would have been fucking awesome.
Like the whole, they should have continued with Jill, the Jill trilogy or whatever they were gonna do.
And Kirby not knowing, it would have been awesome. But you know, studios are gonna do the studio thing, so it is what it is. But we got what we got. I definitely understand why people would like, you know. Hold on, I got something on my lines. Okay, never mind. I thought I was watching Scream 4 again. Sorry about that. Got to make a dig there. I can't help it. opening was fun. This took something that you expected to see in the first 3 movies with an opening kill, but it took everything very meta. And I love how the Scream goes very meta. So I very enjoyed the film within the film, even though if you really think about it, then it doesn't make sense. But I still enjoy for what it was. And the thing of it is, Jill is the main character. The legacy characters are actually supporting characters. Nev is not the lead character. If you think about it, she's not the lead character. It's Jill. And when do you ever get that? Jill is the protagonist and antagonist. It's only when she reveals herself as the antagonist that it flips to Sydney becomes the actual lead in the movie. So I just think it does something that's great. And I think Courtney Cox does some of her best work in this movie. She has Courtney she has Gail not just sitting by the sidelines, but she's being proactive in the investigation. She's helping out. In the other movie, she's doing the investigation, but it's kind of she's doing it on her own as opposed as somebody's telling her about something that leads to her investigating things. I like that she's on her own. I like that she actually gets injured. She didn't get injured in the first 3. I mean, besides the little bump in the head and getting shot, but like she actually gets stabbed. This is her first time she ever gets stabbed in a Scream movie. So I love how this movie is just really great. The cast is really great. I mean, Hayden Panettiere, come on, I just like swooning. But yeah, man, I enjoy it for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of brilliant when you think about how Jill thinks she's Sydney, and then she ends up being Billy, and then I think after that, Kirby kind of ends up coming to Sydney at that point.
Oh, and sorry to interject, but like if you ever seen the last scene where she's told that Sydney's still alive, you hear the heart monitor racing, and she's like, even though she looks calm as fuck, but she's like, motherfucker.
She jumps into that coffee table, dude.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I will say, I wonder if Riz knew that Scream was going to go as long as it did, because like in the universe, there's officially at this point in time, there's more stab movies than Scream movies, and now there's about the same amount of Scream movies as was stab movies. It was 7. So, but Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 4?
Yeah, I do really love this movie, and at times it has definitely been my number 2 in the franchise. For the reasons you guys have said, like I think Jill is one of the best Ghostface killers. I think that her motivation is like one of the most clear and like believable out of all of the Ghostface killers. I think I just have this one a little lower today because God, sorry. Chad's like,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think I just have this one a little lower today because sometimes I rewatch this movie and I don't know, I like it a little bit less each time, almost like I revisit it. That said, I haven't revisited it in a while, and it's just because I think I've seen some of the other ones a little bit more recently, and so I'm really hype on them. I don't know, and it's really just hard at this point for me to rank all of the movies. So today I have it here, but another day it might shoot back up to like my number 2 or my number 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that day today.
I know. Sorry.
But moving on to number 4, this might be a little bit controversial for me, but I've got Scream 2. Steve, what do you have for number 4?
Scream 6.
Kerry, what do you have at number 4?
I have Scream 5.
And Chad, what do you have at number 4?
Scream 5.
But we're going to be talking about Scream 5 or Scream 2022 or 5 Cream, whichever way you want to stylize it. But yeah, I'll go first. Look, I really enjoyed Scream 5. Like, there was a point in time where this was probably my number 1 in the franchise until the recent rewatch where it just sort of dropped down to number 2. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a fresh way to reinvigorate the franchise and to bring sort of new life into it and sort of bring these new characters. And that this counts for a lot of these other Scream movies. The amount of times these characters get stabbed and should legally be dead is insane. Because just like, and it's, I think this is one of the more refreshing ones, where it's like the opening kill, like it's a main character that just like goes on throughout the movie. It's like it's not someone that's just there to, like, oh, you're going to kill this person off, and then it's going to go to these new protagonists and all that. And I just thought it was a lot of fun, and just seeing like Melissa Barrera and all that, just sort of a story, and then like obviously they bring in like the lazy characters like Sydney and Gail and Dewey and later, and it's one of those ones like the fact they were like brave enough to actually like commit to murdering one of the main characters as well, like in a good way, as well, because like they had Dewey going to sort of protecting Tara at the hospital and stuff, and I thought it was just a really good way to go, and I just thought it was a refreshing way. And look, say what you want about her political stance, I would have liked to see where this trilogy could have gone, had they not got rid of Melissa, and obviously Jenna left as well. But who knows, if we get a Scream 8, maybe they'll have it as Melissa meeting up with Stu, if they do commit to the whole Stu's alive theory, and then it's the whole new Billy and Stu kind of pairing, and have them been at Joe, but with the way the box office is going, I don't know if we get a Scream 8, but you can just keep dreaming at this point. But yeah, I really enjoyed Scream 5. I thought Radio Silence did a really good job sort of kind of emulating some of Rez's stuff as well. But Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 5?
So I mean, I really enjoyed Scream 5. I understand where some of the people have some problems with Melissa Barrera's performances, but you got to realize that she's just getting into this movie. And yeah, I understand that the fact that she's seeing. I thought it was a treat that we got to see Skeet Ulrich. I think it was like, okay, so we're doing dead characters. Okay, dead characters. I mean, Scream 3 did it first, but we got Scream 5 doing that. That's cool. I mean, and he still looks the same fucking age. He still looks like he's fucking 25. That's crazy. He's what, 50 something years old? That's crazy. I like that they open with a non-kill. I love that the openings are different. And I think if you look at 4, 5, and 6, that these openings are probably top tier openings besides the original and the sequel. But like the 4, 5, and 6 does something different that is unique to the previous installment that came before. So I love that they open the movie with a meta commentary on what has happened in the last 11 years since Scream 4. And also they actually had a character survive, because we didn't know that Jenna Ortega could have been the Drew Barrymore of this movie, and luckily, we got something different. I also like that I love the fact that Radio Silence had the balls to kill the main character. Hell, I think this is David Arquette's best performance, period, bar none. This is his best performance he has ever given in his career, because you get to feel his pain, you get to feel his happiness of seeing Gail on TV succeeding. You get to see a whole gamut of emotions. You see him throwing Richie under the bus, saying the first person you should suspect is the boyfriend, which he was right. And just like the fact that when when Gail gets here, it's something in their conversation that they had outside of Judy's house where I'm like, oh shit, is this going to happen? Because you have that emotions, this mix of emotions, because they're starting to tear up, because they're starting, because it's actually real emotions actually surfacing in that scene as well too. So a lot of that crying scene over there, it's actually real tears because of their past. So I think this was really fun, at least compared to 6. So there.
Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 5?
Yeah, this one has really grown on me a lot. When I first saw it, I really liked it, but there were some things that just threw me off about it. I'll say mainly the Skeet Ulrich stuff, because I just felt like it was such an unrealistic depiction of, I mean, I guess they're saying Sam has like schizophrenia or something. I can't even really remember, but it just seems like a very unrealistic depiction of how that would be, kind of, and that kind of threw me out of the movie, for a movie that's supposed to be, it's not a supernatural movie or anything. That said, I think the character work that's done in this is really fantastic, and just building these characters that we now like. I think if Radio Silence had failed in making really great characters in this requel, that we wouldn't have 6 and 7, maybe more in the franchise coming in the future. Like, I think we just like immediately kind of get to know and fall in love with a lot of the main characters, including Sam and Tara and Mindy and Chad. And I think that the kills in this are fantastic. The opening scene is really awesome. And I don't know, I think it's like a nice, refreshed commentary on the horror scene after Scream having been away for so long. So.
Yeah. And going back to going back to 7 quickly, fuck Chad for stopping Mindy's like meta speech that she was going to spout at the tavern.
And by the way, how cool is it that the fact that we get Mikey Madison, an Oscar winner, as a fucking Ghostface killer? I think in many levels that's awesome. Hell, we even have the brother of an Oscar winner who's also a Ghostface killer, Rory Culkin. I just find that very awesome that there's a Ghostface killer. Like, I mean, I like that a Ghostface killer is an Oscar winner. So just wanted to put that on there.
So notice that if you want to win an Oscar, be a Ghostface killer. there you go, Glenn Close. You can do it. But Chad, what are your thoughts about Scream 5?
Scream 5 is like the most challenging film in the Scream franchise for me. I really liked it when I first saw it, but something that always felt off about it. And there was a time where I was like, just kind of like I liked it at first, and then as like rewatches afterward, I would sit there and I would like kind of be one of those people that's like, Radio Silence can't make a Scream movie. Like, this is Wes Craven's franchise. Radio Silence just doesn't have the same vibe with their movies. Like, it feels like a fan film. And I mean, it kind of is in a way. But there's a lot to like about it. So I'm definitely not on that train anymore. And I actually like Scream 6 a lot, which we'll get into. But Scream 5, I still have just a lot of issues with. And it's like mainly involving everything to do with the legacy characters. And of course, I love the legacy characters. I could have been just fine with them making more movies about them. But I think the strongest stuff in 5 are the new characters. And so I love the Carpenter stuff more in 6, and all the other characters more in 6. But I also like what they do to start them in 5. But with 5, I don't think they understood the original movies that much. I don't think they understood Billy Loomis. So it doesn't make sense to me that Billy Loomis would have had a daughter. It just doesn't make sense at all to me. Where I'm just like, how on earth would this psychopath who's obsessed with Sydney and his whole goal is to have sex with Sydney just so that he could kill her as like a final girl kind of a deal or whatever, or like kind of like subverting that trope or whatever, why would he just go have sex with some random woman and then have a daughter later? It just didn't really make much sense to me. And like when I finally realized that, I was like, that's why it's always felt so off to me. But I understand, like, they're like, well, we need to make some sort of like connection with these new characters to the old characters. But that didn't always work for me. But then, you know, I like the Mindy and Chad, their connection to Randy, I think is really fun. I like that a lot. I think Mindy is a great Randy. And Chad is just fun just in general. And it's not just because we have the same name. And I think he's more fun too in 6 as well. And even though his kill or almost kill is not very realistic. But I want to love the Dewey arc. I think they have some really great Dewey stuff in the movie. Like when they bring back the Scream 2 Dewey score, I think the needle drop is really fun. And Carrie can remember in the theater, I got so excited about that part when they had the needle drop because they didn't have it in 3 or 4, I don't think. And so they brought some back. There's some things that they did understand. But I think what they did is they wrote a character that's supposed to be this bum, drunk, failure of a person. And then they said, that can be Dewey. We're going to make Dewey the drunk failure who wasn't good of a cop. He's a Gale simp who, as soon as he's not with Gale anymore, he becomes super just a failure. And I'm just like, I don't understand how they go from Scream 4, where he's a really great sheriff, to Scream 5, where he's all of a sudden, well, I mean, he's a good sheriff, I'll say, but to Scream 5, where he's just failing at everything, and he's just so down on his luck. And I just don't understand where they turn him into a drunk, and it just feels so weird. It's like, I don't understand where they get that character from. And I understand that they're like, well, we need Dewey to die. So we're going to orchestrate all of these character things for Dewey to feel like he needs to sacrifice himself. And I'm okay with Dewey dying if they make it feel earned. But here, I don't think they do. I think they orchestrate him into this thing to where he feels like he's going to sacrifice himself. But at the end of the day, he dies because of a mistake. He dies because, oh, my cell phone went off, and oh no, now I'm dying. And you want to talk about unrealistic? Doesn't make sense that Amber would be able to kill him like that, because I think she does like pick him up.
She does lift him up with the knife.
And it's just so, I don't know. It's just, it feels like a very off kind of moment for me. I will say
cardio. She was doing really good cardio that week.
I will say, I think when they were devising it, it feels like a really cool moment. But he leaves the Carpenters with the ghost face killer in the elevator, and then goes to shoot him. You got to shoot him in the head or take off the mask. He doesn't do either of those things, and then he just dies brutally. And it just feels like, I know the killer then goes, it was an honor. And they're trying to make that such a big moment, but it just feels so fake at the end of the day. It's always kind of felt that way for me. And, you know, for that, and I also feel like Sydney and Gale are often very shoehorned in the movie too at the end. And it just really feels like they just needed the legacy characters to be there or to give them advice or something. And it just doesn't really feel like they make them actual earned good characters in the movie. And the focus is all really on the new character.
I'm going to say Chad had a straight 5 minutes prepared on that, because this is part of his debate topic for a debate tonight.
Sorry. But I will say, I love a lot of the movie too, because I love what Amber does. I think Amber's brilliant in the movie. I think Richie is really fun in the movie. So I think the killers work. I think the Carpenters work. I love Chad and Mindy. So yeah, I really like a lot of what they did. I do think sometimes it feels like it's smarter than it actually is, but it's a fun movie regardless.
Look, this is when it comes to the Scream franchise, I know I've already seen my piece. I just want to add this a little bit. I've come to subvert expectations when it comes to characters' motivation and stuff, because like there's they don't give a sort of timeline for what year each of these is taking place, how many years is between each run, because like I hate the fact they keep resetting Dewey and Gale's relationship every movie. Is like, what if they want the plot to be? But I'll say like Dewey suddenly becoming this like drug, like someone who's obviously had a lot of trauma in his life and just can't do it. It's like makes just as much sense as Sydney suddenly having a 17-year-old daughter in Scream 7. There's the and as well those ones. Like, I get they want to show sort of time jumps. I just wish they kind of showed like something to show how much time has gone past between movies, because there definitely is that bigger time jump with like in this one with stuff obviously happening between 4 and this that made Stewie what he is. But yeah. And just to touch on JPO's comment, I know he's being a little bit sarcastic here, but no, sorry, it didn't get number 1. But Steve, what do you have for number 3?
Scream 6.
Kerry, what do you have for number 3?
I also have Scream 6.
Chad, what do you have for number 3?
Scream 6.
I'm sticking with Scream 2, but Scream 6 is going to be number 3. Which, weirdly enough, is still where I've got it on my personal rankings too. But Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 6?
Wait, is it my turn?
Steve, what? I don't know. Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 6?
Sir, okay, so now I like this movie. I like this movie. Again, don't get me wrong, but like I think the opening scene was very unique in terms of the fact, oh shit, we get an unveiling of who this killer in the first like 5 minutes of this movie is, and it just becomes very meta. It's a killer. I thought it was gonna be some sort of Dexter type of thing where it's the killer of killers. So, but I just find it funny that everybody that gets stabbed in this movie lives to a point. Even Annika, before she falls from the ladder, she's still surviving with like her guts still intact. Like a lot of these, what I find weak is that a lot of these characters felt shoehorned. As I think it's especially Gail. I think she should. I don't think even if she were excluded, I don't think you would have missed much in terms of the fact that she was in the movie, let alone her boyfriend or bodyguard or whoever the fuck that guy was in her apartment was random Joe getting like killed and tossed by another little girl too. Let's be honest, that was fucking just the little sister. That was her tossing a big 6'5" black guy right into the library. I mean, ridiculous. We're talking about Amber ridiculous. We're talking about that ridiculous. Fucking Chad getting like shish kebab. The fuck? Sorry, Chad. The other Chad getting shish kebab. Like he should have died. He would have had the catharsis, the emotional catharsis of Jenna seeing her boyfriend die right in front of her and just let it go. Like this is not Dewey. He got like fucking like ching 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 like 7 fucking times in the stomach. I mean, poor Chad. He should have passed away. And again, I like that this actually did. This was an actual movie that took the action in New York and that actually did something with the setting too. Unlike Jason Goes to Manhattan, which was all lake and like 80% lake and 20% New York. I do like the extension of the characters. How Sam is trying to protect how the sisters are trying to protect one another. I felt there's a lot of throwaway characters in this movie that should have been. I don't think should have existed. Along with the therapist, I think that could have been used. And yeah, I do think that the movie has great production design, especially the Shrine Auditorium. I seen the Shrine Auditorium is one of the best production design pieces of the franchise, because for all of us fans here, we ourselves would I freeze framed a lot of the stuff that was in there. I'm like, oh, that's the fucking the door, that's the banner, that's the fucking. I myself geeked out because it's like, oh man, look at all this stuff. I'm not a killer though, but I would have been like appreciated of the art of all this memorabilia being shown off in a way. So yeah, I'm done.
Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 6?
Yeah, obviously, I really love this one, and I agree with a lot of the criticisms that Steve has as well. Like, I don't think this is by any means like a perfect sequel, but I think it is just so fun. I love the way this movie continuously surprised me from the very opening. You know, this is the first opening that we've had where, and like the first time like Ghostface has been, or someone who is wearing the mask has been revealed before like the very end of the movie, and to have like the real ghost face of the movie killing the first ghost face, and like I know just that whole opening scene, I think, where we see the first kill of Samara Weaving, you think that's going to be it, and then you're going to get the title card, and then like the mask comes off and the killer goes home. Like it's so fun. I love that this is a requel of Scream 2, where the motivation of the killers is revenge for the prior movie, and for their relative being killed in the prior movie. I think that's just fantastic. You know, for us to have 3 killers at the end for the first time was really fun. That said, I do think, honestly, the killers to me are even a little forgettable beyond the dad. I know they're a little forgettable to me, just because there are, I think, so many characters in this movie. But I think it's still really well done. The museum thing is awesome. To have Kirby back was really cool. And for her to be at least a somewhat believable
FBI agent.
No. What's a red herring?
Oh, yes.
You know, because usually, like, you know, after a certain point, I would say after 2, you never think any of the legacy, if they survive the first movie, you really don't think they're going to be a killer in the next movie.
Yeah.
So I think having Kirby, she's a red herring for, you know, a few minutes at least. And I think it's somewhat believable. So that was really fun. I think overall, this is just like a really good time. And I like the ending of it. So yeah.
Chad, what are your thoughts about Scream 6?
Yeah, honestly, I've had like my ups and downs with this one a little bit, but like this fixed a lot of the stuff that I had an issue with 5, where, you know, I thought maybe it was just radio silence that I didn't like about it, but I think it was just like a lot of the legacy stuff, because, you know, even though they have Gale in the movie, they just really focus it on their own original story here in New York. And I think that's brilliant. I think, you know, what Carrie said about, you know, focusing it on the, you know, the family of the killer from the first, from 5, and making it like a real Scream 2 requel is really cool, because it's set at college. I think they used New York pretty well. The whole scene, it feels like a big action movie at sometimes. You know, there's certain scenes that are so crazy, like the bodega scene is just amazing. I love the opening. I think the opening is really cool, because I expected Samara Weaving just to be a character. And that's exactly what, you know, Drew Barrymore is in the first one. Is you're like, they expected her to be a character in 1996, and then she was killed in the first scene, and it's just like such a cool thing. And then they subverted even more, like Carrie said, with Tony Revolori being a ghost face, and that's so cool. And then, like, you know, have him explain how it feels to kill someone and then get killed himself. And it's like, you know, do you feel like meat yet or whatever? Who gives a fuck about the movies? It's like such a lot of really cool, like, iconic things. And while I agree with Carrie, I think like sometimes like the kids feel a little whatever. I think Jack Champion is really good. But I mean, you had to feel kind of psyched out with Quinn, feeling like she was dead and then coming back. That's kind of a cool thing. Feels a little bit like Mickey in 2, where he kind of disappears for a while and then comes back at the end. But then also with the guy from 7 from the insane asylum. And then that was fun. But then also I thought Jack Champion was really fun, and how I kind of believed him, but Mindy never did. And then he really is. So I love how sometimes they have people that are so obvious that they just are, because you doubt yourself, like they're too obvious. And then the dad. What is the actor's name? Because he's so good. What'd you say?
I have no idea.
Which one? Which actor?
The dad.
Dermot Mulroney.
He's so good. Oh my God, he's so crazy in the movie. And I especially love what they do with the Carpenters, because I didn't adore Sam and Tara in 5, but in 6, I think when they have the whole arc of you need to let me be my own person and let me go, kind of a deal. Like a Finding Nemo situation, like let me be my own person, make my own mistakes, and then at the end she's like, let me go, and it's like a physical thing, let her go so she could go stab Jack Champion. And I don't know, I just thought this one was really fun. I love how they go extra. I love the museum stuff. I love Kirby. I love the scene between Kirby and Mindy where they're talking about their love of horror. It's just such a great movie. So this is my number 3 just overall, and I think it's really good.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed. I do think that Scream 6 is really good. And just another inconsistency, I do think it's funny. I think it's funny is like how Chad and Tao is in a relationship in this, but he doesn't mention her once in Scream 7. I think they make a subtle, slight reference to Billy's daughter at one point, but they don't never mention. He never mentions his girlfriend from the past movie. Which I think is funny, but not that there was any reason to do so either. But I just, like this is one of those cases where I do think you could have left Gail out if you weren't going to have Nev back, because it's like she didn't really add anything. But I do think it was fun, the fact that they actually had her have a moment where she actually had a ghost face kill before she gets attacked. But she ultimately she wasn't really that needed either. But it's one of those ones where it's like I think it's a lot of fun just having it in New York for a change, as opposed to like a small town. I think it was just something that was a nice change. That it was welcome. And yeah, so but if that we're going to move on to we'll still talk about the second place. We're going to rank the number 1 movie first. But Kerry, what do you have at number 1?
At number 1, I have Scream.
Chad, what do you have for number 1?
Scream, 1996.
Yeah, Scream. And Steve.
Same, the OG, baby.
Yeah, but I knew that was going to happen, but I already had the banners already made. But we're going to talk about Scream 2 first. Kerry, what are your thoughts about Scream 2?
Yeah, I just love this movie. I think it's just an absolutely perfect sequel. Like I think it keeps so much of what we loved from the first Scream, while also just making it feel brand new again. Like the opening kill with Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps, I think is just fantastic. And I don't think anything can maybe compare to the first Scream kill, like Drew Barrymore's opening kill, but this comes, I think, as close as you can possibly get. I don't know. I love the killers in this. Like, they're so crazy at the end. The entire third act is incredible. It feels just as unhinged as the first one. We get a lot of really fun celebrity cameos, a lot of really cool kills. Overall, I think it's just one of my favorites to throw on and watch.
But Chad, what are your thoughts about Scream 2?
Yeah, Scream 2 I adore. I've only seen, I believe, 3 Scream movies in theaters, unfortunately. I wish, 4 with 7, duh.
You've only seen...
I saw 5, 6, 7, and 2.
You didn't see 2 in theaters.
I did 2.
When?
We all went and saw it at the AMC.
Don't remember that.
Anyways, Carrie's telling lies and trying to gaslight me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I love Scream 2. I finally got to see it in the theater, which is really cool because they did another screening, a special screening of it. And I'd love to do that with 1, 3, and 4 as well if I could one day. But for now, I have to settle for these. But Scream 2 is the only Scream movie that if that I would dare to ever maybe consider putting above the original, just because I think it does so many things so well. I love its meta commentary on sequels. I love just the college setting. I love like all the characters. I think the Ghostface killers are amazing. I think Nancy Loomis is so unhinged in the movie. Laurie Metcalf is just such a good actress. I even think Mickey with Timothy Oliphant is really iconic. I think Carrie said the opening sequence I think is incredible. I love Omar Epps and Jada Pinkett in it. I think Jada Pinkett does the best acting I've ever seen in a kill in the franchise. Just the way she falls down dead with her eyes glazed over is just incredible. I love that so much. I mean, the only thing that I kind of don't love is the Randy kill, but even since it's canon, I get over it pretty quickly. And I'm like, well, at least now they have the balls to do, kill off a main character like this. And then it wouldn't do it again until Scream 5, which is really weird. But I love the tension, the pacing, the scene with the car where she has to climb over the ghost face is so creepy. And then the in third act with her, basically turning the theater where she acts into like a death trap for the ghost face killers, which is really cool. And then also, I think this has some of the best Dewey and Gale stuff where they actually develop them so well as characters, but also as a couple. And I love the moment when, Dewey's kind of like upset because she wrote a lot of negative things in the book and trying to make him look like an idiot. And then he's upset and then she apologizes to him. And it's like one of the only moments in the franchise of true human feeling that Gale ever emotes or whatever. And even though the bangs are a thing. Scream 2 is incredible. I adore it so much. I even adore Derek singing in the cafeteria. So it's just a perfect sequel, in my opinion. One of the best horror sequels ever made, and I love it.
Yeah, I think it's funny how Sarah Michelle Gellar has just been picking up sort of horror movies left, right, and centre.
Buffy. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking. Well, like Buffy. I know what you did last summer, The Grudge. Ready or Not 2, soon to come out in a few weeks. So I was like, she's just been sort of becoming this really someone that pops up in these horror movies a lot. Scream. I always find Scream 2 is always really enjoyable to watch, and just I think a lot of the kills are interesting, especially the movie theater kill. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's just an interesting thing. Steve, what are your thoughts about Scream 2?
If it wasn't for Scream 4, I have this. I would. It's definitely ranked. It's ranked. It's one of the best horror sequels of all time. One of the best part 2s of all. Not of just horror of all time. This is one of the best sequels of all time. because it takes a lot of what was built in the previous movie and ups it and takes it up a notch. Randy sets it best, and like the body count's always bigger. It's a more, and sets a whole new rules for sequel movies. And I think the theater kill set in the Rotolo, it's probably definitely iconic and it's very relatable. And it's also one of the first time that it goes meta within itself in terms of establishing a film within a film with the Stab franchise. Being, by the way, directed by Robert Rodriguez. If everybody caught that, Robert Rodriguez directs the first Stab movie. So, and you get Heather Graham as the Drew Barrymore character. So, Tori Spelling, Luke Wilson, just great. And I love Timothy Oliphant's unhinged Mickey. It's fantastic. I don't care if he was just a rando. I think the fact that he's so. In that last scene where he reveals himself, he's just so charismatic. Like he just throws up hands, like and plants doubt in Sydney's head about her boyfriend being the killer. That what makes him, I think, one of the top Ghostface killers. That he is able to have Sydney pushed away from him and then just kills him right in front of him.
Yeah.
It's great. Laurie Metcalf as Nancy Loomis is fantastic. I think she's always been a great actress on Roseanne. If you've seen that one scene in Roseanne where like calling him on the phone, I think that's her best performance. But in this performance as Nancy, it's great because she definitely exudes that revenge that she wants to have for a mom that's whose son has been killed. And it was tough for Randy to get killed, but I think as in other movies, even in Friday Part 2, you had the lead character get killed in Friday Part 1 get killed in Part 2. It was bound to happen, even though it's everybody's favorite character. So I'm not that sad to see Randy go, even though it was pretty sad. And it was basically the audience there going, "No, you killed us. What the fuck?" But yeah, and fantastic. Also, I think it also has a great soundtrack and one of the best chase sequences in the franchise as well. In the little studio system there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But there we're going to move on to number one. But Chad, what are your thoughts about the first Scream?
Yeah, Scream is one of my favorite movies. Scream is a movie that got me into horror. Fun fact, Carrie and I were both in college. Carrie's college friends were kind of like commandeering an auditorium to put on a Scream marathon. So their own Stabathon, basically, which is really cool. But at the time, I thought I didn't like horror. So I was like, Carrie, I don't know. That sounds really not my speed. And I don't think I'd be really scared of like jump scares and stuff like that. And then I still don't love jump scares. But Carrie, I was like, I felt bad because I was like, well, I'm kind of keeping you from it. So I was like, let's go try it. But if I get scared, we're out of there. And then I watched Scream, and then I was like, this is different than what I was thinking. And this is kind of fun. This is like has a killer that you can push and they'll fall down. And, it's just kind of silly in some ways. So it's like a legitimate horror movie, but also like fun too. I know I keep saying that, but that's exactly what this movie is. It's one of the most fun movies you can watch, and it is literally the movie that got me into horror. And I just will always love it for that. And it's just a movie that I just never get tired of watching. I think it has like a perfect screenplay. It's just so fun, even when you know who the killers are. It's just fun, watching the whodunit aspect of it. And I just think it's so brilliant in its writing and how it, does the meta commentary of horror movies and has characters who are aware of horror movies and self-aware. And then you have, them play into those tropes, and you have the subversion of the final girl having sex. And then also, so while she doesn't get killed, because she, she does, what is the thing? She has sex, but then she doesn't die, is the thing. Because if you die, that's one of Randy's rules. You die, you have sex. Wait, you have sex, you die.
Wow. Yeah.
So, yeah, finally got it. I love the subversion of all that. and the characters are just so well written that it's like normal slasher movies. You don't get characters that you fall in love with. Even the original Halloween, you have Laurie Strode, who's a great character, but all the other characters are kind of like just regular teenage girls, and you don't, really fall in love with them. In Scream, you have characters that you actually fall in love with that you want to see continue into other movies. And, it's just a brilliant screenplay. And I love how they use Halloween in the movie with the score and the film itself and trivia about it, to elevate Scream, because if you can't beat Halloween, steal it and use it for your own purposes. And so I just love this movie so much. It's just so iconic in every single way. And it has two of my favorite horror characters with Dewey and Stu. And I think they're just so amazing and iconic, and I love them so much.
Yeah, I don't know what more to add. But I mean, there's a reason the first Scream is one that is just always it's going to be one of those ones that will always be sort of a top favorite movie, and that it's just one of those movies I think is just fantastic. It definitely stands the test of time, and just seeing and just one of those ones there's definitely some moments which frustrate me, especially the scenes of Gail's cameraman just sitting there watching the cameras of random people get attacked. You're not going to go help? You're sitting here watching all this happen. You're not going to go help? It's just a lot of fun, and just and it just the subverting of the expectations when you think Drew Barrymore was in this movie. Cool. Oh, she's dead within the first 5 minutes. Oh, but Steve, what are your thoughts about the first Scream?
I mean, this movie changed the horror industry. This movie changed the horror industry, whether for the better or for the worse. We had a whole bunch of copycats come after this movie, and just the way Halloween set the trend for movies to come in the future. Scream did that for us in the 90s and beyond. So I am very fond of this movie for many reasons. Not only that it's a really great movie, and I also think this is Wes Craven's masterpiece, but it's great. It's also great because I had the script of the original Scream movie, and in high school I actually tried to do a Gus Van Sant shot-for-shot remake of Scream. I did my best. Unfortunately, a lot of things got caught. I know I shot the fountain scene. I know I shot the bathroom scene where Sidney gets chased, but unfortunately, that footage has been lost to time, and it has never been recovered. It basically became the lost film that along with my lost Blair Witch Project film. But yeah, it made such an impact for me in terms of loving filmmaking, loving horror, and I don't know what's much more to say that Malcolm and Chad hasn't said. Let's just leave it up to Carrie to wrap this sucker up.
Carrie, what are your thoughts about the first Scream?
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief because I feel like everyone's thoughts have been fantastic. I think this is a perfect horror film, a perfect slasher film. And like you guys have said, it completely changed the game with horror and I think with meta commentary. And it's just such a joy to watch. This is probably one of this and Halloween are like my most watched films probably, and maybe Cars because that's now our son's favorite movie. But it's every time I put it on, it's just a joy to watch. I never get sick of it.
But that brings us to the end of ranking for this week. Next week we'll be talking about top 12 voice actors that have from Pixar movies. So voice acting performances for Pixar movies, so it should be a lot of fun. But Steve, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Mesa Media One on Twitter /X, on Facebook, on YouTube. You can also check out some of my stuff on smesa85 on Instagram. Things are slowing down in March. I'm getting ready to go on vacation in 2 weeks. So everything's slowing down in terms of the video content. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for this month. I think I might just take this month off, but like I'm always creating videos. I'm always having ideas based on songs that I've heard recently. So there's going to be some content coming up real soon. I just don't know when. But actually, I'm going to be participating in the Miami Film Festival in 2020 in April. So that's there's still news to be determined because the lineup's going to be announced on Tuesday, but it's yet to be determined on what kind of participation I'm going to have. But I'm hoping I'm possibly going to be hosting a Q&A.
Nice.
But Kira, where can people find you online?
You can find me at Welcome to Primetime. Chad and I host a horror show with Hunter Chambliss where we talk, all things horror.
And Chad, where can people find you online?
Also on Welcome to Primetime, we have a lot of fun talking horror over there. Huge Scream fans, so if you love Scream, we often talk about Scream a lot, and we won't shut up about it actually. But also check out Cinema Chat is my channel where I try to do like a lot of different stuff like reviews, but also other rankings. So we've had a lot of rankings over there if you enjoy ranking. And then also check out my buddy's channel, the Dill Pickle Movie Network. I host a show over there called Picture This, where we do Oscar stuff, and we just basically try to cover everything that's been nominated for Best Picture. We have a lot of episodes. We're about halfway done, actually, which is crazy.
Wow.
So, that's very exciting. And if you like Oscars, go check that out. Thank you, guys. Ranking is fun.
And you can find me on Tape Free Productions as the host. Rank 'em every week. Next week we'll be doing top 12 voice acting performances from Pixar movies. Over on my personal channel, Malcolm Smooth Media, I host Speak from the Past over there. The next episode we were talking about No Way Out from 2001. And then you can find me pop out here and there on the Movie Hero Network from time to time. And but until next time, just keep enjoying movies, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.